What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with my hands-on and first impressions video of the Moto G Power 2022. This is a brand new budget smartphone from Motorola, and I'm really excited to show it to you here in this video. Now, this is indeed the 2022 model of the device. As you can see on the back of the box right there, Moto G Power 2022. This phone is the successor to last year's Moto G Power 2021, and I'm really excited to see how this phone is different from that phone. I do still have the Moto G Power 2021, so in a future video, I will be comparing the two devices, so definitely make sure to sub to the channel so you don't miss out on that content. But essentially, this device is one in a series of Moto G Power devices that have come out over the years. As I mentioned a second ago, last year we had the Moto G Power 2021, then prior to that, we had the Moto G Power 2020, and then before that, we had the Moto G7 Power. And then internationally, there have been a variety of other Moto G Power devices launched as well. But these devices have been very popular because they deliver really good battery life and relatively decent performance for a budget phone. Now, at the time of me recording this video, the Moto G Power 2022 is being offered at Metro by T-Mobile. However, I'm sure in the future, the phone will be offered at other carriers and hopefully factory unlocked as well. And generally, the carriers tend to offer really good deals on these devices. For example, right now, it appears that Metro by T-Mobile is actually offering this phone for free if you switch in from another carrier. So there definitely are very good deals to be had. Now with the Moto G Power 2022, we're getting a very large 6.5-inch display. Now this display features IPS LCD technology. It is a 90 Hz display, which means that we are getting a little bit of a faster refresh rate compared to the Moto G Power 2021, which gave us a 60 Hz display. The display is 720p. We're getting a PPI of 270. We're getting a 20:9 aspect ratio, so a more narrow but taller form factor, and we're getting a 79.7% screen-to-body ratio. So in general, pretty small bezels, but the bottom bezel is a little bit on the thicker side. Now, even though the phone's display is 720p, I do feel like it still does look very nice. I like that it gets decently bright. The colors are also not too bad either. And in general, when looking at the display of the phone, it certainly doesn't feel low quality. Now we do have that hole punch for the front-facing camera up above, and the front camera here on the phone is 8 megapixels. Now stay tuned for my full review of the device here in the channel, as I'll be showing you a variety of different photo and video samples from the phone. Now internally here with the Moto G Power 2022, we're getting 64 gigabytes of storage, and we're also getting microSD card expansion. So I do appreciate that they are giving us such a generous amount of storage here with the phone, considering that it is a budget device. Now there is no wireless charging with the Moto G Power 2022, but we do have a fingerprint sensor in the back of the phone. Let's give that a try right now. Very quick. One more time. So we do have a very fast and accurate fingerprint sensor on the device. And in addition to that, the phone supports face unlock. So I do appreciate that we have multiple methods for accessing the phone. Now with the Moto G Power 2022, we're getting a triple camera setup with a 50 megapixel main camera, a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera, and a 2 megapixel macro camera for close-up images. And this phone does support portrait mode for both the rear and front cameras. So if you are a fan of getting those nice blurred out backgrounds, then I think you're definitely going to like this phone. Now here's how things look on the camera app on the device. This is with the main camera right now. Then from here we can switch over to the macro camera to get nice close-up detailed images. Then we can flip back over to the main camera and then go over to the side menu and we can access portrait mode. And then with portrait mode, again, we get those blurred out backgrounds for both the rear and front cameras. And then if you want to take standard selfies with the front-facing camera, then you certainly have that ability as well. Now in addition to photos, this phone of course also does take video, and video recording does max out at 1080p for both the rear and front cameras. Now with the Moto G Power 2022, we're getting 4 gigabytes of RAM, paired up with the MediaTek Helio G37 processor. Now in general, 4 gigs of RAM is pretty good, especially for a budget phone. But the MediaTek Helio G37 certainly isn't very quick. Now for many users out there, it probably will be fast enough, especially if you're just looking to do kind of the more traditional, basic tasks on your device, such as phone calls, text messages, web browsing, and light social media. But as you can see here in this Geekbench 5 benchmarking test, The single core score was relatively low at 183, and then I got a multi-core score of 998. So what I recommend doing is running this test on your current phone and then compare your scores to these scores to get a better idea of whether or not the Moto G Power 2022 is going to be a performance upgrade for you. Because in general, I haven't really found this phone to be too fast. But of course, relative to the cost of the phone, I do think it does perform pretty well. So compared to a phone that's $1,000, for example, this phone is not going to be nearly as fast. But compared to a similar phone in the same price segment, it is pretty competitive as far as performance goes. Now with the Moto G Power 2022, we are getting a large 5,000 milliamp hour internal battery. So definitely expect to get very good battery life with this device. And then as far as software goes with the phone, we're getting Android 11 with Motorola's skin. So the skin here really isn't a very obvious skin when looking at it, but essentially Motorola has added in a variety of their own features, so bonus features in addition to what you typically get with stock Android. And in general, I am a fan of it because I feel like they're taking the best of stock Android and the best that they have to offer, and they combine it into one software experience. Now, it is a bit unfortunate, but the Moto G Power 2022 does not feature NFC. So if you like to use NFC to make mobile contactless payments, then unfortunately, you do not get that feature here. Now, before I show you a little bit more about the hardware of the phone, let's take a quick look here and see what all comes included in the box. So we don't get too much included here, but we do get a 10-watt USB wall adapter. We also get a USB-C cable for charging and data transfer. We get a SIM card removal tool. And then we also get a quick start guide for the Moto G Power 2022. We have terms and conditions. And then also we have some regulatory information here. Now taking a closer look at the hardware of the Moto G Power 2022, the phone is made completely out of plastic, besides the display, which is made out of glass. But despite that, the phone does feel of decent quality, and it certainly does not feel cheap. I already talked quite a bit about the display, but in general, I do think it does look nice. We also have relatively slim bezels all around, except for the thicker bottom bezel. Now taking a look at the left side of the device, we have nothing except for the slot for the microSD card and SIM card. Then on the right side of the phone, we have the power button, volume down and volume up. Then up top here, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack and noise canceling microphone. And then on the bottom of the phone, we have the microphone, USB-C port for charging and data transfer, and the speaker. And then on the back of the device, we have the triple camera setup, we have the flash, and we have the Motorola logo, which is also the fingerprint sensor. And I'm actually a big fan of this material on the back of the phone. It is just a matte plastic finish, but I really like that it has this wavy texture to it. And not only does it look good, but the phone also doesn't really pick up fingerprints. So in general, I think Motorola did a nice job here with the design of the Motorola Moto G Power 2022. But this is my hands-on and first impressions video of the Motorola Moto G Power 2022. I'm definitely curious to know what you think about this device, but so far, so good. I think it is a decent budget option, especially if you're looking for a phone that gives you good battery life without costing too much. But if you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. But this is Kevin here, and I will see you in the next video.